Don't push me away, human. Let me warm your nights and your heart. The alien princess is desperate. Evan lived on the far edge of human space, on a cold metal station that circled a quiet blue star. The station was called Haven Ring, but Evan never felt safe there. He worked as a systems engineer, fixing power lines, air controls, and broken doors. He spoke only when needed and avoided long talks. Other workers said he was polite but distant. Some thought he was proud. Others thought he was angry. The truth was simpler. Evan was tired of losing people. Years ago, he had been part of a rescue crew. A ship had broken apart during a jump and only a few survived. Evan lived. His closest friends did not. Since then, he believed caring too much was dangerous. If you let people close, the universe would find a way to take them away. So Evan kept his heart cold like the metal walls around him. One cycle the station changed. Long-range alarms sounded, not loud but steady. A diplomatic ship entered the system. It was smooth and silver, shaped like flowing water. Many workers stopped to watch it through the windows. This ship did not belong to any trade group. It carried royal markings from a distant world. Evan did not watch. He was under the station, repairing a failing heat line. His hands were numb and his breath fogged in the air. When the heat returned, he packed his tools and moved toward the lift. That was when the station lights flickered. Then the emergency tone sounded. A low voice announced a partial lockdown due to system failure. The lift stopped between levels. Evan sighed and leaned against the wall. He opened a panel to check the controls. While working, he heard soft footsteps. He looked up, surprised. Someone else was trapped in the service corridor. She stood a few steps away. She was not human. Her skin held a gentle glow like warm stone under sunlight. Her hair fell long and dark, moving slightly as if touched by unseen air. Her eyes were wide and bright, filled with concern and curiosity. She wore simple traveling clothes, not armor, not decoration. Still, something about her felt important. She spoke carefully. Her voice was calm but carried emotion. She said she was sorry if she was in his way. Evan straightened. He nodded once. He said the lift was stuck and it might take time. He asked if she was hurt. She shook her head. She introduced herself as Leora. She said she was a visitor and had taken a wrong turn while exploring. She smiled, warm and open. Evan gave his name and returned to his work. He did not ask questions. Visitors came and went, royals even more so. It was none of his concern. Time passed slowly. The corridor grew colder as the station rerouted power. Leora folded her arms. Evan noticed her shoulders tense. Her glow dimmed slightly. He frowned. He asked if her species needed more heat. Leora looked surprised. She nodded. She explained that her people lived best in shared warmth, not only from machines but from presence. Being alone too long weakened them. Evan did not understand, but he adjusted the heat panel. The air warmed a little. Leora relaxed, her glow returning. She thanked him and stood closer, not touching but near enough that Evan could feel gentle warmth. It was not uncomfortable. It reminded him of sitting near a fire long ago. They talked quietly. Leora asked about the station. Evan answered in short sentences. She did not push. Instead, she listened, truly listened, as if every word mattered. When the lights flickered again, Leora looked worried. She said her escort would be searching for her. Evan said the lockdown would delay everything. Leora hesitated. She looked at him carefully as if seeing something hidden. She said humans felt very strongly, even when they tried not to. Evan stiffened. He told her she was wrong. She did not argue. She simply said she could feel the cold around his heart. Not cruelty, but fear. The lift finally restarted, but instead of relief, Leora felt dread. If she returned to her ship, she would leave Evan alone again. Something inside her resisted that idea strongly. When the doors opened, Evan stepped out. He expected Leora to follow. She did not. She stood inside the lift, her hand hovering near a small device at her wrist. Her eyes met his. She said she needed time. She said she was not ready to leave. Then the doors closed. Evan stared at the metal wall. He told himself it did not matter. He walked away. But far above, Leora disabled her return signal. Alone in the quiet lift, she made a choice that would change both their lives. Evan did not notice at first that Leora had disabled her return signal. He was busy with work, moving through the maintenance tunnels, checking air filters and repairing the junction panels. His hands were steady, but his mind wandered. He could still feel her presence in the lift. Not close, but faint, like warmth left in the air after a fire. Leora moved quietly through the upper decks. She watched him from a distance. Her species had senses beyond human sight. She could feel Evan's hesitation, the careful walls he built around himself. She wanted to reach him, but she also knew humans feared attachment. Her instincts screamed to stay near, but she kept her distance for now. Days passed. The station resumed normal activity, but Evan noticed subtle changes. Tools he left in the workshop had been tidied. His lunch package sometimes moved slightly, as if someone had tried to make it easier to find. Small acts, but enough to make him suspicious. He asked around. No one admitted being responsible. Leora revealed herself one night while he was repairing the hydroponic unit. The station was quiet. Lights dimmed, casting shadows along the walls. She stepped out from the corner, gentle glow shining softly. "Why are you here?" Evan asked, startled. His voice was flat, but his heart raced. "I need to make sure you are safe," she replied. Her voice was calm but firm. "Being alone can be dangerous for you, and for me," Evan frowned. "I don't need anyone," she tilted her head. "Humans survive many things, yes, but your body and mind carry scars you hide. You try to ignore them, but I can feel them. You do not sleep well, you do not rest well, you do not eat well." Evan clenched his fists. "That is none of your concern." Leora stepped closer. "It is my concern if you let me stay. You are all I have right now." He blinked, confused. Her words were simple yet heavy. He did not understand why he felt a pull toward her. His heart, so long frozen, began to stir. He hated it. Over the next few cycles, she stayed nearby. Not always touching, not always talking. Sometimes she simply sat or stood quietly while he worked. Her presence alone warmed him, though he would never admit it. Other station personnel noticed the small changes. One engineer, a cheerful woman named Marin, commented that Evan seemed less tired. A technician named Gyro saw the slight light in his eyes. No one guessed the reason, though some whispered about the strange silver visitor. Meanwhile, Leora sensed the outside world's impatience. Her family and the council that sent her were searching. Messages went unanswered because she had hidden her signal. The risk grew daily, but she could not leave Evan. Not yet. One night the station's alarm rang. A small shuttle from her home world had arrived without notice. They scanned the station looking for her. Evan noticed the ship through the viewport. He understood immediately what it meant. Leora appeared behind him. Her glow was faint, a worried blue. "They are searching," she said softly. Evan turned, voice low. "You could be taken. You should leave." She shook her head. "I will not leave you alone, not now." "You need me more than I need orders." He stared at her. Fear, confusion, and something dangerous close to hope swirled inside him. "I don't need anyone," he repeated, almost as if saying it to himself. She reached out but stopped short of touching him. "Then let me help. Let me be near you. I will not hurt you." For a moment Evan wanted to push her away. His mind screamed caution, but his body, tired and cold for so long, betrayed him. He did not move. He could not move. The shuttle outside scanned the decks again. Security drones flew past, ignoring all but the emergency signal. Leora and Evan remained frozen in their quiet space. Neither spoke. They did not need words. When the drones moved on, Leora exhaled softly. "You are stronger than I expected," she whispered. "And yet you fight so hard not to feel. That makes you fragile." Evan swallowed hard. He wanted to argue but could not find the words. She had seen through him completely. The truth he hid from everyone, including himself, was laid bare. Over the following days, she stayed near him in small ways. She left warm water packs beside his sleeping cot, adjusted the temperature in the room, or simply hummed quietly when he worked. Each gesture was subtle, yet Evan began to notice. He fought every feeling that stirred inside. Each smile he saw, each gentle word she spoke, seemed to reach the corners of his mind he had sealed years ago. One evening, as the station rotated into darkness, Evan finally spoke. "Why are you doing this? You could leave." "You should leave." Leora stepped closer. "Because you are alone, and that is dangerous for both of us. Because your heart is cold and it needs warmth. Because I do not want to leave." He shook his head, frustrated. "I am not ready for this. I do not want attachments." She placed a hand near his shoulder, close but not touching. "You already have one. You just refuse to admit it." The words struck him harder than any physical blow could. He turned away, forcing his body to move, forcing his heart to hide. Night came. The station's artificial lights dimmed. Evan sat in his small quarters, staring at the wall. He could still feel her presence. She had not left. Somehow, she had found a way to remain near without him noticing. A soft glow appeared by the door. She stood silently, eyes gentle and unwavering. "Do not push me away," she said quietly. "Let me stay. Let me warm your nights and your heart." Evan felt something he had not felt in years, a twinge of fear and longing. He wanted to tell her to leave, but he could not. The loneliness he had carried so long suddenly seemed unbearable. He could not resist her completely. Leora smiled faintly, sensing his struggle. She did not press. She simply stayed near the door, a quiet guardian in the dark. As the station rotated into its long night cycle, Evan realized that for the first time he was not alone. A fragile warmth began to grow inside him, unwanted yet undeniable. He did not speak. He did not act, but deep inside, a door he had sealed long ago began to creak open. The next few cycles brought tension that Evan had never felt before. The search fleet continued to scan the station. Alarms rang and communication attempts were made, all unanswered. The crew aboard the station whispered about the silver visitor, but none dared approach her. Only Evan felt the weight of her presence fully, though he would not admit it. Leora had explained that without emotional bonds, her species grew weak. Evan could feel the truth in her words now, though it frightened him. He realized she had been near him for days, quietly giving him warmth and rest he had long denied himself. Each time he felt slightly stronger, she seemed dimmer, as if giving of herself took something from her. One day, while Evan repaired the main power junction, a squad from her world arrived without warning. They moved fast, sleek suits glinting under the station lights. Their mission was clear: retrieve the princess immediately. They did not ask questions. Leora appeared behind him. Her glow was faint, uneven. She said, "They came to take me. You must stay safe." Evan paused, tools in hand. "You could leave. Why stay? You will be taken." Her eyes met his. "I choose to stay. I will not abandon you, not when your heart is so alone." Fear and anger mixed in Evan's chest. He wanted to reject her, to push her away, but her presence had become a lifeline. He realized then that he could not let her go, even if it meant risking his life. The squad moved closer. Evan, instinctively protective, grabbed a nearby tool to block their path. He was not trained for combat, but he refused to let them harm her or remove her against her will. Leora watched silently, knowing his courage had surprised even him. The confrontation was brief but intense. Evan's determination forced the squad to halt. He spoke firmly, voice steady despite fear. "She stays here. She is not yours to take." Leora stepped forward, standing beside him. Her glow brightened, a mixture of pride and relief. "I am not a prisoner. I choose where I am, and I choose to be here." The squad hesitated, not expecting the human to intervene so boldly. After a tense moment, they retreated, reporting back that the princess had refused retrieval. The station's corridors were silent once more, except for the soft hum of systems and the quiet steps of two beings who had found connection. In the aftermath, Leora collapsed briefly from the strain of resisting her people and sustaining herself near Evan. He rushed to her side, unsure of what to do. Her species had not been designed to thrive alone. Evan's hands hovered, afraid to touch, unsure how to help. She whispered for him to hold her hand. Hesitant, he did, and immediately warmth surged through both of them. This moment changed everything. Evan understood then that attachment was not weakness. It was strength. Leora's survival depended on human connection, and Evan's heart, long frozen, had found reason to beat stronger. They spent hours in quiet recovery. Leora explained more about her people and their bond with emotional warmth. Evan listened, awed and humbled. Each revelation made him see the universe differently. Humans, he realized, could endure more than any technology or strategy. Their emotional strength was unmatched. But the danger remained. The search fleet would not give up. Other factions had learned of Leora's presence and might try to exploit the situation. The station was no longer just a home or workplace. It had become a battlefield, and the lines were drawn in quiet moments, not in open combat. Through all of this, Evan and Leora grew closer, though not by choice. Their bond was forged in the necessity of survival, in shared fear, and in the rare gift of trust. Evan began to understand the warmth she had offered was not merely physical comfort. It was an invitation to feel, to heal, and to live again. One evening, while the station spun quietly in orbit, Evan spoke softly. "I never thought I would let anyone in. I never thought I could." Leora smiled, faint but warm. "It is not weakness to accept help, it is courage." They stayed close through the long night cycle, neither sleeping nor fully awake. The galaxy outside moved in its endless rhythm, unaware that two lives were changing the understanding of connection. In that small orbiting station, a human and an alien princess discovered that the most dangerous power was not lasers or shields, but the heart itself. The days following the rescue were tense. Evan stayed by Leora's side while she recovered, learning more about her species with each passing cycle. She explained that their strength came not from physical prowess but from shared emotional bonds. When alone too long, even the strongest among them would fade. Now, thanks to Evan, she regained color in her glow, the warmth that indicated life and vitality. Evan, for his part, began to notice changes in himself. He slept better, ate more, and even laughed quietly at small jokes Leora made. He still fought the feelings inside him. Trust did not come easily, and the fear of loss was always close. But her presence was soothing in a way that machines or routine repairs never had been. The station's sensors showed movement beyond the orbiting decks. More ships arrived, representing the Council and rival factions interested in Leora's capture. The tension of political intrigue pressed down on them, but Evan and Leora focused on what they could control: each other. Evan spent hours learning to repair older systems. Leora helped in small ways, not with his hands but with guidance. Her presence remained steady and calm, a counterpoint to his often anxious mind. Every time he completed a repair, she offered a quiet smile. It was subtle, almost unnoticed by anyone else, but it carried power. It reminded him that someone believed in him, even when he did not believe in himself. A night came when the Council demanded they be separated. Messages arrived directly to the station, insisting Leora be returned to her ship immediately. She read the messages quietly, then looked at Evan with sorrow. "They will not understand. They will not see what we see." Evan felt a surge of protectiveness. "I do not care what they say. I will not let you leave. Not now, not ever." Leora's glow brightened, reflecting relief and hope. "You truly understand what it means to feel human. That is rare. That is strength." They worked together to prepare for the Council's arrival. Security measures were set not to fight the ships, but to delay them long enough for Evan and Leora to speak. When the council representatives arrived, they were surprised to see a human standing firmly beside a princess, refusing to let her be taken. Evan spoke clearly, his voice steady. He explained that Leora had chosen to stay, that her presence brought him life and warmth, something the galaxy could not understand but which mattered greatly. The council listened, confused but attentive. This was unusual, unprecedented. Humans were not known for their emotional endurance in alien eyes. Through their discussions, a new understanding began to form. Leora's people saw that humans survived and thrived not because they suppressed emotion, but because they embraced it fully, even with pain. Strength, the council realized, was not measured only in technology or weapons, but in the ability to care and endure. Evan and Leora spent long hours quietly together, away from the formalities and scrutiny. They walked through the station corridors, adjusted systems, and simply existed near each other. The warmth between them became a shield against both fear and fatigue. Their bond, forged through crisis and need, grew unspoken yet powerful. One quiet night, Evan whispered softly, "I used to think feeling made you weak, but now I see it can save you." Leora's glow shimmered in response. "It can save more than life. It can save hope." The council eventually left, their decision delayed but not denied. The station returned to relative normalcy, though the memory of tension remained. Leora's health fully returned, thanks to Evan's care and their shared warmth. But the universe outside had changed. Two lives, so different and yet intertwined, had rewritten understanding. They had shown that the heart could endure and influence even the largest forces. Evan realized that for the first time in many cycles, he did not want to be alone. Leora realized that for the first time, she had found someone she would not leave. They sat quietly together in the observation deck, watching the stars turn slowly. The station hummed around them, alive with lights and systems, but the most important life was the one shared between them. In simple presence, in quiet trust, they had found strength greater than any fleet, any council, or any rule. The final days on the station were tense yet filled with quiet hope. Evan and Leora had grown closer than either had expected. The council and other factions still observed, but neither dared challenge the bond they had witnessed. Evan had learned that humans' emotional endurance could not be measured by their strength alone. Their hearts, capable of hope and attachment, were a power no fleet or weapon could match. Messages from distant worlds continued to arrive, urging Leora to return. She read them silently, her eyes always drifting to Evan. The choice had already been made long ago in her heart. She would not leave, not for orders, not for diplomacy, not for safety. She had found a life worth holding on to. Evan, aware of the pressures outside, finally spoke openly. "I cannot let them take you. I do not care about their rules, their laws, or their threats. You are not a thing to be moved. You are a life, and I will not let you be taken from me." Leora's glow brightened, radiating warmth and relief. "And I will not leave you. I choose to stay human with you, not because I must, but because I want to." The council representatives arrived, expecting defiance. Instead, they saw a human standing firmly beside an alien princess, two beings united by choice rather than duty. Their stance and quiet confidence spoke volumes. A new understanding began to emerge. Perhaps strength was more than orders and traditions. Perhaps courage included the capacity to feel deeply and protect what mattered most. Negotiations began. Evan spoke for both of them, explaining that Leora's species depended on bonds that humans could provide. He described the simple acts of care, presence, and trust that had restored her strength. The council, initially incredulous, began to see the truth. Humans survived not despite emotions, but because of them. As discussions continued, Evan and Leora stayed close, walking through the station and maintaining systems. They shared moments of quiet intimacy without words. Every small gesture mattered, adjusting the temperature, sharing a warm drink, fixing a panel together. These moments were life-giving, more important than any council or fleet. When the talks finally concluded, it was clear. The council recognized the choice they had made together. Leora would remain on the station by Evan's side and their bond would be honored. It was unprecedented, but it was real. The galaxy outside continued its endless motion. Ships moved, systems rotated, stars burned. But within the station, two lives had changed the course of understanding. They had proven that the human heart, capable of endurance, courage, and deep connection, could shape outcomes far beyond expectation. Evan and Leora spent the following nights quietly. No alarms, no interruptions, only the soft hum of the station and the warmth of shared presence. They watched the stars through observation windows, the endless cosmos a backdrop to their small yet powerful connection. Evan no longer feared loss as before. He had chosen to care, and in doing so he had found a strength he had not known existed. Leora, for the first time, did not feel duty-bound to return to her ship. Her life had purpose beyond orders. She had chosen connection, love, and hope. She no longer needed the Council's approval. Her happiness and survival intertwined with Evan's presence, a human who had learned to embrace the power of feeling. Together, they sat quietly, hands brushing occasionally, smiles shared without words. Their hearts were no longer cold, no longer alone. The universe outside remained vast and unpredictable, but inside the station, a new understanding had taken root. Life was strongest when shared. Hope was strongest when nurtured. And love, even across species and worlds, could transform both the heart and the galaxy. The station continued to hum, a small orbiting sanctuary. The stars outside were distant, but their light reflected in the eyes of two beings who had chosen each other. Evan and Leora, human and alien, discovered that the greatest power in the universe was not firepower or fleets. It was the courage to feel, to endure, and to hold on to each other. In that shared warmth, in that quiet presence, they found home, hope, and strength beyond imagining.